Now let's see how we can use functions to organize our code. So in here, most of our code are organized. There is not a lot of nodes left to organize, right? So let's just go to animation blueprint. It's really a mess in here. First of all, we can organize everything by, for example, clicking here and align to the top for these two, or we can just select all of these, right click on the left one in here and go to alignment, align top, so all of these will be aligned together. But we want to use functions. Like in character class that we have here, we can do the functions and macros and even collapse node in here as well in animation blueprint. In whatever blueprint class that you have, you can do that as well. So first thing that I'm going to do, you can see I use get velocity in here and use it in here and in here as well. I don't want to do that, so I can get the velocity again in here, get velocity, and in here get the velocity for this in here like this. Okay, so this get velocity is just for the speed, and this get velocity is for calculating direction, and these two is for when we are jumping, right? No, it is a little bit more organized, but let's just organize everything with a function. One way to do it, we can just select all of these, for example, for the calculating speed, right click on one of them and tell it to collapse to function. Again, it will automatically do that, but it won't do a great job, I think, for us because the naming is not okay and nothing I think is okay. So let's just use Control Z to bring it back. And now I want to go to function and create a function in here. And I want to call it calculate speed. Okay. And now you can see the difference in here between functions and macros and collapse node. In here, you can see we don't have an output in here, but if we just click on calculate speed in here, we can see the input and output. So what we are going to do, first of all, let's just close other tab in here and click on event graph to open our event graph. Okay, and know what we need. First of all, we need the target, right? We need to get these BP third person character, and in the output we need just an execution pin to get out of it, right? So let's just again double click on our function in here, click in here, and first input we need a third person character that we create, right? And we can call it third person character. Okay, now with this we can get the third person character. Now again, if we go to our event graph, we can get this function, put it in here. First of all, there is a target that it by default is there, and there is a third person character in here, and we can connect this as BP third person character that we get connected to here. We need the execution pin, so let's just connect the execution pin to here, and we can just cut all of this code, cut it with Control X, and now connect the output execution pin to set is it on air, right? So now inside this function, what I want to do, I want to paste all of those code. And what we want to do in here, first of all, we want to get the third person character, right, like this, and connect the execution pin to set node in here. Now everything should be fine. So again, let's just go to event graph. Now everything should works fine. So let's just compile and run our game. You can see everything is working fine. All the animation are fine with these functions. So first question is, what is this target that automatically is in there? This target, it by default, it is self. Why it is there? Because in this calculate the speed, we want to access to this speed variable that we create inside our event graph in animation blueprint class. So with this target, we can access all these variables, right? So if we set a variable or get a variable inside the function, it will work fine. So now we organize everything for calculating the speed in just one node, and we can do it for others as well. So for example, this one is falling. Okay, we can again right click and collapse to function. Okay, and again we can use that like this, and we can just change the name of self too. Let's just double click on it and go here in our function and change it to third person character. Okay, no, it's more self-explanatory. Okay, now if we compile and run our game, we can jump and everything is working fine, right? So now again, go to event graph. What we can do to organize everything better in here. Right now you can see first we get the BP third person character from here to here, and again from here to here as well. What we can do about that, we can give it as output inside this calculate speed function. So let's just do that. In here we can just click on calculate the speed node in here and add an output, and in this output the type of it we want it to be BP third person character that we create, right? So after you create the output, it will give us a return node, so we can put it in here. There is an execution pin that we should connect. Now we can change the name of this new parameter to third person, right? And we can get this third person here and connect it to here. So now always at the output of our calculate the speed, we have the third person and we can connect it from here to here. Now you can see it is more organized. I did forget to change its name from new function to the calculate is it on air. Okay, we want to set is it on air, so let's just change the name to calculate is it on air. Okay, so now let's just compile and save and to event graph, and now you can see it's more organized. Let's just do it for these nodes with holding control and selecting them, and right click on them and collapse to function again, bring it totally in here, and know what it needs. Again, it doesn't do a great job for us, but we can fix that. You can see it get the BP third person character twice, so we don't need it twice. Let's just create this function ourselves. Control Z to bring it back. It need the BP third person character and it need to set the direction, right? So let's just create a function in here again. Let's just change its name to calc direction. Okay, for calculating direction. And now let's just again go to back to event graph. I want to copy these all of this node, cut it, Control X to cut it, and go to calc direction in here, Control V to paste it. And first thing that it need our blueprint class. So let's just click in here, add an input, and the type we want it to be BP third person character. We want to call it third person char, okay, or whatever you want to call it, and give it to both of these, okay. And now it will calculate the direction, and we need the execution pin for setting the direction variable. So let's just give it like this. And again, it's a good idea that we add a output as well of type of BP third person character like this, and I want to call it third person, okay. And we can put it in here, give it the execution pin, and the return will be this, okay. So we pass the third person to other nodes that it need the third person character again. Now with that, we can use our calculate direction in here. It need the execution pin, the target always self, and this calculate is it on air, it need to have an output. So let's just again click in here, add an output in here, and tell it that this is third person. Okay, third person, the type should be BP third person. So let's just put it here. It need the execution pin and it need to pass this third person character from here. So when I want to do that, you can see it give us an error. Why? Because I think I made a mistake in here. I should change this to third person character that we create. So now we can give it the third person like this in here. Now again, if we go to event graph, you can see we have third person that we can give it to the next function. So now in here, everything is organized and we can select all of these, align everything with these by the top. Okay, everything is organized, we are calculating everything and the game is works fine like before. Everything is working fine. There is no problem in our codes, but it's more organized.